Shalom. Giving all the praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rakakodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and safety and much blessings to the Yakim that's pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth and all truth, sincerity, and intelligence. Shalom. And this lesson is really going into like this, the whole, that a military draft is on the table. All right. And, this isn't, this isn't new news, all right, to the men and the women that's been, following the prophets and the men of the Lord that's been teaching and preaching this word. Okay. But see, what's happening right now is that, a lot of these, majority of these people, the masses of the people are being taken by everything that's, being put in front of them. It's like that, like we bring out that saying, the frog in the pot, of boiling water, and here we are in this conflict with Iran, which is the hot topic, man. But the point is, what I'm bringing out is that, Donald Trump has made it clear that he's not ruling out a draft, which goes to show you, all you people that's living it up here in America, thinking that this place is just, is going to continue on forever, like the way it's been. You got another thing coming. All right, because there will be a draft, man. There will be a draft, and your sons and daughters, are gonna, be placed in the military and get their fucking ass blown off to smithereens, man. All right, they're finna be going up against, people of another country, men, trained men with the Lord's anger in them. Okay, and you got the U.S. military, all they fighting against one another. That was a video of this black man, so-called black man, beating down this fucking so-called white man, talking about, come here, like really just punching them down. And then you got these alphabet boys in the military, just a whole bunch of femininity in the military. You don't have no type, because back then, whenever you had men to go to war, you had trained men from birth. Like a good point to bring that out is when you're dealing with, the 300, how these men were from birth trained to be men of war and warriors. Okay, but when you look at the military of America, this place is a laughing stock. All right, so now, here it is, it's on the table of a military draft, coming about, man, and now everybody, want to shake the fist at Donald Trump, man. Nah, man, the men of the Lord been telling you this. The Lord has been warning and been telling you this. Let me say it like that, using his men who he's placed his spirit on, and I'm gonna show it to you. So I'm gonna play this clip right here.
Are worried that we're going to have a draft, that they're going to see their sons get in and daughters get involved in this. What do you want to say about the president's plans for troops on the ground?
President Trump wisely does not remove options off of the table. President, as commander-in-chief, wants to continue to assess the success of this military operation. It's not part of the current plan right now, but the president, again, wisely keeps his options on the table.
Developing news coming out that the White House has not ruled out the U.S. military draft in 2026 as a result of the conflict taking place right now in the Middle East. Now, this comes as just a couple days ago we heard that the United States and Israel are considering boots on the ground in Iran. Now, this is coming out all across the headlines today, March 9th, 2026. Take a look at the latest so you can see it for yourself. Military draft fears deepen after Carolyn Leavitt refuses to rule it out. You can see Monday, March 9th, 2026. Here's another one today. Marjorie Taylor Greene slams Leavitt for not ruling out a draft in the Iranian conflict. U.S. military draft, what 2026 conscription could look like. U.S. military, is there a draft in 2026 coming out today? Also today, could the U.S. institute a draft for the Iran war? And as I mentioned, this coming as a couple days ago, Trump had privately shown serious interest in U.S. ground troops in Iran, and coming out today, take a look at this, extremely sensitive. Donald Trump will put U.S. boots on the ground in Iran by the end of next week, warns a former ambassador. And we've heard these warnings coming out a couple months ago. Take a look, December of 2025. Now it says Congress quietly moves the U.S. closer to a military draft with the passage of the NDAA expected this week. A sweeping change to the Selective Service will attempt to automatically sign up American males to serve. And we're hearing that this is coming out all across the news media headlines in the past 24 hours as a result of the White House's response to Maria Bartiromo's Business Fox News interview, where she asked, and she said it is not ruled out. Trump is keeping everything on the table, even when specifically asked about a U.S. military draft for the conflict in the Middle East with Iran right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
So, there you have it. You know, this man is pressing towards boots on the ground in Iran, man. Okay, and ever since this guy has been in the office, okay, and he's been having a hard on. And anything to do with the sword, he means business. You know, he's coming with the sword. So him pushing out the idea or not removing off the table of a military draft should let you know that there will be one, okay? Because anytime the scriptures tell you what a king would do. Now, I'm going to read this in 1 Samuel, right? I'm going to read this in 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel. Now, this was going into King Saul and what he was going to do, and this was telling these Israelites, but it's just the point of it, right? So now we have who ruling? We have the king of Babylon, which is Donald Dump, okay? Which, you know, he's using the sword, fulfilling out their blessing as Edomites. Right, but the scriptures tell you what a king would do when he's placed, you know, in that position. This is 1 Samuel 8:11. This is how a king would reign over you, Samuel said. The king will draft your sons and assign them to his chariots and his charioteers and make them run. This is in the NLT, making them run before his chariots. Some will be generals and captains in his army. Some will be forced to plow his fields and make harvest and harvest his crops, and will make his weapons and chariot equipment. Okay. So, and then now here it is. You in America. Well, you have these women that wanted the right to vote, the right to work, the right to be able to join the military. Well, here it is. There you go. Right? And now you got these women that's in the military crying about being in the military because now you had this illusion that you were going to join the military and nothing, we were never going to go to war. You know, we hardly, you know, we just, you know, it's a time to travel and make money and have a good time and meet new people. Okay, but nah, man, here we are we at the end. See, this is the perfect time that you 2/3 niggas and you 2/3 women of the nation of Israel, and you joining the military, right? So now you about to reap your judgment, you know, because if you call yourself not gonna fulfill orders, because you joined the military and now you found out that you're about to go to war with Iran, then you want to jump ship. No. You get capital punishment with that, I believe. You get severe punishment for that, going AWOL, okay? Now it ain't a game. Now it's serious. Because the military, these people, these Americans have been taking this whole thing for a joke, man, and not been listening to the prophets of the Lord. You know? So these people are coming to find out that it's not a game. That, hey, you are going to war. We are at the end of Esau's kingdom, and the end of it consists of war. And you that are in the military are going to go to war against Yahweh Shai. And it's going to be a draft. You know, why, okay, if it wasn't going to be a draft, why isn't he ruling it out? You know, he rules out the fact that when he says another country is not going to do this, they're not going to do that to America. He rules that out with no problem. But they ask him about a draft. Well, we're not going to rule that out. Peep this out, and especially you women. When I say you women, that's because you are the biggest liability. You, women and children, are the biggest liability in a time of war. When in a time of war, everybody goes back to their natural estate. Women go back to all you women that want to be men. You go back to your natural estate of wanting of being a woman. Okay, you see.